Hey everyone, welcome back to another Chart With Me video. And in these videos, I typically break down my trading plan for that particular week, for that particular market. And now we are talking about US30. And as you can see, there were a lot of craziness that just happened inside of this market over this past week, mainly due to a lot of news events and news catalysts. So let's go ahead and clean up these charts as usual, and then go to our weekly time frame. So actually, let's go to our weekly time frame and then clean up the chart. So I keep hitting the wrong thing. Okay, remove drawings. All right. And then I'm also going to, actually I do want to keep that. So that bias may change depending on what happens this week. But anyway, so looking at the weekly time frame, let's make this a little bit bigger, mainly because it's a little hard to see. Okay, awesome. So looking at the weekly time frame, one of the things that I see in this market is we ended the week bearish. So that leads me to believe that there's a higher probability that price in this upcoming week will also continue bearish, possibly. Now we can see, before we go to that thought, we can see that there are a lot of wicks that have formed here on this particular market. There's a possibility for price to come down to here at 38,000 roughly, and then maybe at 37.9, but you can see that in the past, when it gets roughly into this level of, what is this, 37,800-ish range, price tends to pop up. So here, huge range right here, and then price rejected and went up. And then here, grabbed some liquidity, went up. Here, grabbed some liquidity, went up. And then this is not liquidity, but basically it formed this really big wick and then closed as a small bearish candle, but still bearish. So anyway, so that leads me to believe that that is a possibility here on the US30 market. And price has just been kind of crazy, so I haven't really traded this all that much because I'm only looking for clean moves, setups that are things that I've seen before in the market. I'm not risking my money on something that is maybe a maybe. I need it to have a high level of certainty before I risk my money in the market. So let's go ahead and mark off this level right here perfectly at 40,000, mainly because this is a nice resistance. So when you have a bullish candle followed by a bearish candle, this is a resistance. And then of course, on the other side of that, I'm going to mark off this support. If you have a bearish candle followed by a bullish candle, that forms a support. And as you can see, this weekly candle right here broke support, and that leads me to believe that price may go down further. And that also leads me to drawing out another level around 37,950. So let's go ahead and draw out this level right here. This is looking amazing to me. Let me save this for now, and then let's go down to the daily time frame and then adjust our levels so that way when we are in the live markets, we have levels that we are confident in. Okay, so this up here at 40,000 looks amazing. At this point, it's the highest point that the market has ever reached, so it looks good to me. And then this is kind of the problem area, which is why I didn't really trade this all that much. You can see all these really tiny candles. Tiny candles mean that there is low volume in that direction, so this weak bearish candle means that there's low bullish volume, and then these small body bearish candle means that there's low volume in the bearish direction. So, and then you see all these wicks, and some of these candles are volatile. All that means is that you have a candle like this purple one right here. You have a candle where it broke the high of the previous candle and the low of the previous candle. So that's a very volatile candle. I typically don't like to trade on those because you just don't know. So lots of craziness happening in this section, so let's try to make some sense of it if we can. Okay, so one of the things I'm seeing, I'm actually going to move this quite a bit. I'm going to move this level up to about 38,900, and I may draw another level. Actually, I will draw another level right here at 38,525-ish level, mainly because all of this low momentum and wicks and stuff right here, this is basically price trading in a range. We don't see price going higher, making higher highs and higher lows, like we see in basic market structure. We also don't really see it making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, like all that stuff. We don't see that happening whatsoever. So this is basically price printing side by side, and that means that price is in a range or a consolidation, and I do not trade those. I typically wait for price to break out of the consolidation or the range in order for me to take a trade. And of course, looking at charts for hours and hours and hours for years now, this is just obvious to me. So that's why I'm pointing this out, just in case it's not obvious to you. So let's go ahead and go down. Let's see, up. Before we do that, I'm going to take this level, I'm going to adjust it up. So this is the most recent support level inside of this at this time at 38,000, roughly 38,100. So I want to focus on the most recent price action when I'm marking up my charts for the week. And I do see something kind of right here. I could mark that off, but let's go down to lower time frames and see if it makes sense for us to do that. Because also I don't like to have a whole bunch of stuff on my chart, just because in the live market it makes it very difficult for me to analyze price. So that's why I have these really simple lines, and really trading is not all that complicated. You're basically looking for things that you've seen before and then executing on that. So that's why we do this over and over again. So anyway, this is I don't think I want to adjust this. Actually, I do. I'm going to move this up just a little bit. So now it's at 48,000, roughly 50. So that looks good. And then this, I move this up to roughly 38,980. So almost 39,000. And I think I want to make this slimmer. And I do actually want to move this right here. So I'm going to put this right on top of this bullish and bearish candle, because this formed a really strong resistance. We can see that price tried to come up here and then it rejected, and then we have this candle that closed bearish. It just sold off. So I really like this level because it's telling me that this is a really strong rejection level, and I definitely want to mark that off. If we go over here, we do see that this once was a support level that got broken and then sold off tremendously. So this bottom level, I do want to make this slimmer. And then one of the things that I want to mark off is, let's see, how do I want to mark this up? Because this is super choppy. I actually want to put it down here, because all of this is just a range. And to me, the way that I trade, I'm going to put a box around this. This is an untradeable range. I'm not going to touch that. I do have this right here. I'm going to keep that because maybe the price action will look different by the time I get back to the market, but I'm not trading that. That's just a mess. So we have this nice support level right here at 38,300 and roughly 60. So that actually looks good. So this is in a range, not going to touch it. So let's go ahead and look at this level. This still looks good, a really strong support. All these candles are basically sitting on top of it. So let's go down to the H2 time frame, reset our charts. That level still looks good. And this actually still looks good. We still have the resistance sitting on top of that, or the two candles underneath that resistance line. And this still looks good. This still looks good. Did I draw another line? I feel like I may have. Let me move it. Yep. Okay. Yep. That was the one we just looked at. And I think I might want to draw another line. Let me go back to the daily time frame, because as you move down, it gets a little nuts. Okay, yes. So going back to the daily time frame, I do want to draw another level. And I want to put it right here at 37,685. So roughly, yeah, 685. And let's go down to the H4 where we were, and let's see if we want to move it. I think this would probably look good at 37,730. I like that level. And we may move it some more. So let's go down to the H2 time frame again, because we were here before. Let's move this. And then let's look at this level, see if we like it. Okay, yeah, that's sitting there perfectly. And then if we look left, we can see that we do have some supports that were formed, and that is sitting perfectly. Okay, amazing. So let's go to H1. Let's reset the view, because it's getting a little crazy, especially when you go down in time frames and trying to squeeze all of this data into your screen. And I'm on a 27-inch iMac, so it's even a little difficult on here. So this looks good. And this still looks good. Now, one thing I do want to point out in this area, let me make this a little bit bigger, is this right here. So we have this bullish candle. This was a strong bullish candle. I believe this was like CPI or FOMC or something. But anyway, one of those news events, we have this really strong candle, and then the next candle just rejects, closed bearish, and then just sells off. So this is something that I'm not going to move my level, but what I am going to do is on this H1 time frame, I am going to mark this off, because the fact that price came up, totally rejected, and then sold off tremendously, I want to make sure that I keep this in mind when I'm looking at the charts, because price could potentially do the same thing in the future. And in this case, I do like to put it at the body. You can see that it's at 39, roughly 100, 39,100 level. Let me see how it looks if I put it at this wick. So, okay. Yeah, so this looks good, and this actually leads me to my other point. If you're not following me on Instagram, then go ahead and follow me on Instagram, mainly because I'm able to quickly post ideas and things that I come across in the middle of the day or whenever I trade on Instagram much quickly than I am on YouTube. It's just, obviously, it's Instagram is super quick, so I have all these amazing topics, and I know in one of these I talked about the wicks. So speaking of wicks, so a lot of times when I put my levels, I put it at the candle, but sometimes if I have a really big wick, sometimes I will put it right at the tip here. This is a hack or a trading hack that I talked about on my Instagram account, and some other people were like, oh, I never knew that, thanks for sharing that. So that's why you need to follow me on Instagram, so that way you can go ahead and get these little things quick and not have to wait for these longer videos. But anyway, stay here, because I'm going to break something else down for you in a second. So right here, I place this level at this wick, mainly because the same reason. Price goes up, it comes to this point and it says, no, I don't want to be here, I'm going to reject. And this is a really long wick. And then if we look right here, we have price doing a similar thing almost in the same region. So this tells me that this is a rejection zone. And then we can look over here and we can also see that price has also rejected. It tried to come up and this candle stopped abruptly, and then it started to sell off, tried to come back up, same level, reject it, same level, reject it. So I'm like, okay, this is a really strong rejection level. So it doesn't matter over here. It doesn't matter really if I put my level right here, because if I go down on lower time frames, these wicks will turn into candles. So let's just quickly go to 30-minute. We can see that it's right there. Actually, I think I want to move that like right there. But let's go back to the H1. Okay, cool. And it's actually fine. It doesn't really matter. But since I'm looking at H1, I actually do want to put it right here. And we can see if we line this up at 39,120, we can see that there's a rejection here. Like I said, we talked about all these rejections, and then there was also rejections right here. So this is a really strong rejection level. And just know that when we're placing these levels, they're not precise. They're not precise price points, although I do call them out. They are zones. They are really zones. So pretty much from here to here is all a zone, but I don't like to mark it up that way, because when I go down to lower time frames to take my entries, I do at times adjust these zones very slightly. And then too, I don't want really big zones on my chart. Like that just takes up way too much. So anyway, I digress. So my trading plan for this upcoming week, like I said, not touching this, because it's all in a range and it's super messy. So one thing that I do want to do is I do want to adjust this level, and I want to come down here to 38,310, mainly because we have these two rejections right here, and then we also have a third rejection, straight rejection up. So let's fix our box really quick. All right, so if price goes below this level, I definitely want to see sells underneath here down to this level, mainly because if we look left, we see price rejected and bounced up. So I don't want to try to hold sells all the way down here, unless price is just in really strong momentum, meaning there's a lot of volume in the market. But price rejected this level so many times in the past. So if I'm going to take a short, I want to be pretty much getting out right here. And that has saved me so many times in trading, instead of trying to hold it all the way down, like get out when you see price action to the left. So anyway, so right here at 37,720, that's going to be another level based off of what I see here to the left. Now this is a little choppy and a little messy, so you may have some areas like right at 37,890 where price just straight rejects because it did that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So it could get to there, but like I said, if there's a lot of volume, it could push down. So I think this is the last level that I'd be looking for, at least initially. Now, if more levels present themselves in the middle of the week, then of course I will make those adjustments. So on the upside, so like I said, I'm the type of person where I like to trade outside of the range. So this is a really short range. So let me measure and see if this is good. Okay, yeah, this is only like 82 points. I don't know if this is worth it for me to trade, but one thing I would be looking for, if we look left, I'm actually going to use a different tool just so I don't have to draw, is right here where all these rejections happened. So I would basically be looking for price could reject here, it could reject here and go down. And that's actually decent. That's 133 points. But really, I would feel safer above candle, or having a candle close above these wicks, mainly for the reasons I talked about before. This is a really strong rejection kind of zone, and price could get up there and totally reject, and then that's it. But if we look to the left here, we have all this clean range. So basically the market is trying to balance itself out. And if you see a lot of selling, then it's going to be counteracted with a lot of buying. So I want to be on the buying side if price comes up here and gives me my entry signal, maybe up to this level at 39,420. So let me mark this off, this level right here. And then my next zone would actually be right here. So from this point to this point. So I'm shifting where I'm at. I'm shifting where I'm at just because price is all the way over here. But here are the lines that I drew before, but you essentially get the same kind of feeling. Okay, great. That looks good. So this would be a level that I would stop at for the same reasons. Rejection zone right there, and then up to about here, right there. And then this is at 39,900, and then this is 39,750 roughly. So these, and then of course if price continues to push up, you can see I'm more like bullish on this, but not yet because we saw what happened on the weekly and we want to wait for our entry signal. So from here at 39,900 roughly all the way up to 40,000. So I believe it's going to get up there, but I don't know if next week is going to be it. But like I said, anything could happen. A news catalyst or something like that could push price in really strongly in one direction, and you want to make sure that you plan for both sides. So this has been my analysis for this upcoming week. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.